Hello, welcome in. Happy Sunday, everybody. We are back to talk about today's two games. We've got the Texans at Patriots at 3 o'clock, and then we've got the Bears and Rams to close out the divisional round tonight, right after that at 6:30. So we're going to talk through the games. We'll build a team for the two-game slate. Ryan, have a $50 King of the End Zone bonus. Yeah. So we'll definitely find something. Yesterday started off good at Keon Coleman anytime touchdown that won. Bills lost in overtime though. That was a small play on their money line. It was a coin flip game and they lost, in overtime. So not really surprised there. And then in the night game, I didn't want to take San Fran to cover. I told you guys that. So we took their team total over. And of course, they did even worse than they did 2 weeks ago when those teams played. Don't really know how it's possible. Kyle Shanahan should have nightmares about Mike McDonald all summer. He absolutely owns him. They've played 2 times in the last month and just absolute ownage. I hope Kyle Shanahan, I hope it's like a summer night in July and he's on vacation and he wakes up with sweats because he's scared of Mike McDonald. I hope that happens. Absolutely embarrassing that they can't score a touchdown in 2 games against the team. And the Seahawks are very, very good. I am not taking anything away from them. They have a great defense. You guys know I was very heavy on them last year for futures when they hired Mike McDonald. I was a year early. But this is a no-joke defense. But even if you get blown out by 40, to not be able to score a touchdown in 2 games is insane. For 8 quarters, you can't muster a touchdown. You're not playing like the Steel Curtain. I don't understand it, but I digress. Let's get into today. Mitchell, what's up? Mitchell, you need to start feeding some UFC picks because I know that's coming next Saturday. So we're going to need some UFC picks in the chat for that big card next Saturday. As far as today goes, if you watched the stream yesterday, I talked about it a little bit. I like the Patriots in this game. I took them -3. It's -3.5 now on FanDuel. You can still get that -3 on DraftKings, I believe. Jojo, what's up? So I do like the Patriots in this one. I understand people wanting to take Houston with the defense, but I just don't care. I truly believe Drake May is that good. I'm not worried about the defense whatsoever. He passes the eye test. If you look at any advanced metric, Drake May top of the league this season. And they played an easy schedule, but you can only play who's in front of you. We also have a small sample of him against some decent teams as well, and he's still been very good. So I have no concerns about Drake May today. Whether they're getting Scott, what's up? Whether they're getting pressure or not, I think he's going to have a good game. And I think the current gap between Drake May and CJ Stroud is like astronomical, huge. So gap filler for Nico, 100% agree there. Like even if the Texans had Nico Collins and they were fully healthy, even if their defense plays to the best of their possible abilities, like you're still getting the Patriots as like a 21.5 point team total. So let's say the Texans go out there, their defense plays the best they could possibly play, best game of the season. The Patriots score 17 or 18 points in that scenario, in my opinion. I guess there's a world where they hold them to like 10, but I don't think so. So I think if the Texans defense plays its absolute best, the Patriots score like 17. Do you really think the Texans without Nico are going to even score 18 points? Like, I don't know. I really don't know. I have not trusted this defense all season. If you guys are not as new as some of you are, and you were watching the streams back in August and September when I remember multiple streams I was going off about Nick Caley and how like I'm sick of these like John Carroll alumni getting these NFL jobs over and over and over again because they're all friends with each other. And this goes back to New England too, but Caserio goes from New England to Houston, starts running Houston, right? And this ties in all back to even then. But then they get rid of Bobby Slowick last year, who was not a good offensive coordinator. They just hire Nick Caserio's buddy, Nick Caley, Josh McDaniels' buddy as well. Like those ties, it's just like sickening. These guys get jobs because they're all friends with each other. I truly think he should not be an offensive coordinator. And CJ Stroud has not played good either for 2 seasons now at this point. So yeah, I like the Patriots on this one. I have no problems laying 3 with them. I don't even hate 3.5 either, to be honest with you. I think they'll probably win by a touchdown or more. I also think you could money line parlay them with Indiana tomorrow. Yeah, I mean, the same thing. Kevin Patullo, like I've been raging about this, like because he's Nick Sirianni's buddy. He just gets to be their offensive coordinator. Like there's no reason that he was not fired midway through the season. Like honestly, the Eagles, if they fired him and got someone in there that had any sort of like creativity whatsoever, they might still be playing today. I don't know. It's an unknown, but yeah, it's just annoying. But I think you could moneyline parlay New England with Indiana tomorrow, and that gets you like plus 105, plus 106, somewhere around there. I think that's fine. I actually think Miami can keep that game close, but there's just no way. Like, even though Miami has gotten to where they are, the national championship game, they're still known for collapsing and choking under Mario Cristobal. The complete opposite can be said for Indiana. They're just a buzzsaw right now. So, and I know it's a home game for Miami. I don't even think it matters. Like, I don't know if like casual college football fans understand this, but like it's different for the national championship, I'm sure. But Miami is not known for having a good home crowd. Like at Hard Rock, they're just not. Like they don't have one of those insane crowds. And Indiana does. Indiana travels better. They have the biggest like alumni pool of anybody. They travel like crazy. That was an Indiana home game in that last game. So I won't talk about this too much because we'll obviously be streaming tomorrow for the national championship game. But I do think you can parlay Patriots and Indiana together as well. And I might do that. I'll think about it as the day goes on. But sticking with this game, like the chat pointed out there, no Nico Collins, which is just a huge factor for the Texans. We hit the Christian Kirk anytime at first touchdown in their game on Monday. All of the value from that is zapped away with Nico out. I mean, Christian Kirk, we took him at like 5 or 6 to 1 and then 30 to 1 for first. And now he's like plus 280 and 13 to 1 because you don't have Nico playing. So there's no value there. I don't believe there's value on the running backs either, personally. So I think if you're looking at Houston, you're looking at one of the receivers. You have Jaden Higgins, Xavier Hutchinson, to a lesser extent, Jalen Noel. But I think you're going to see a lot of Kirk, Hutchinson, and Higgins, if I had to imagine. Hutchinson's numbers come down a little bit. I think he was like plus 450. Then he was down to like plus 380 and it's drifted back a little bit. I'm seeing him 4 to 1, anytime touchdown, 17 to 1 for first touchdown. Higgins is plus 350 and 15 to 1. I'm still fine with Hutchinson if you want to pick somebody on Houston. I don't love it though. I'm not going to play it personally. But if you ask me for my pick on the Texans, it would be Mr. Xavier Hutchinson, I think. On the New England side, we hit a New England first touchdown score in week 18, I think it was, when I hit Austin Hooper at pretty high odds. I see him at 27 to 1 today. I think that's around what he was when I hit him in week 18. I'm probably not going to take him, but I just think it's interesting. Like, he is more involved than you think in the red zone. But I'm not going to take it. What I really like on the Patriots is Drake May, plus 330, anytime touchdown, and 14 to 1 for first touchdown. He has not scored a rushing touchdown in a while. I think it's been like 4 or 5 games. But I think there's a good potential for him today. So Houston, when I think about Drake May as a quarterback, and this is not, I'm not comparing necessarily how many DFS teams you play today. Probably just one for this 2-game slate. And we're going to build a team after this. But when I think about Drake May, I think he's very similar to Patrick Mahomes in that when the lights are on in these like playoff games and stuff, I think you're going to see him get more active as a scrambler, not necessarily designed runs, but just scrambling. He was top 5. Actually, I think he was top 3 in the NFL this season in both scramble attempts and scramble yards. He's very, very active as a scrambler. And that's something we see with Patrick Mahomes. This year was a little bit of an anomaly because they were completely devoid of any sort of a running back. So the Chiefs basically had to rely on Patrick Mahomes as a rusher throughout the regular season. But something that in years past was always popular for the Chiefs, once they got to the playoffs, people would be taking Patrick Mahomes rushing yards because he would start scrambling at an astronomical rate when they got in these playoff games. And I think you could see the same thing for Drake May because he did the exact same thing last week against the Chargers. Scrambles were off the chart. Now he's playing a very aggressive defense in Houston who like gets pressure without blitzing a lot, which is interesting because not many teams can do that. Only the really good teams, are consistent getting pressure without blitzing. But the Chargers also, I would say, are similar construction. The Texans are like a much better version than the Chargers. So I think it's kind of a similar matchup stylistically. He also just feels due for a touchdown for me because he hasn't scored in a few weeks. And then also, I don't know, feels like we could see like a QB sneak or something. I don't know. So I like Drake May. That's my favorite option on the Patriots today. And I'm going to take him anytime and first touchdown. If we're looking at the Patriots pass catchers, it's just like it's too tricky for me to rely on any of these guys. Like you would think it's Diggs, but then sometimes Diggs has really good per route numbers this season, but there's times where he just isn't on the field. He's not running the amount of routes that you would like. So when you're paying like 2-1 for him, that gets a little dicey for me. And then after him, it's such like it's like this conglomerate of guys. Like you have Kayshon Boutte for sure, deep threat. Houston is like kind of, because they play pretty aggressive on the back end, like they're susceptible to a big broken play. We saw that a couple times a few weeks ago. So I don't know. But you have him as like the deep threat. Obviously, you have like Demario Douglas, like hasn't really done anything. So that's why I think most people look at the tight ends. Hunter Henry at 2-1 though doesn't feel very good to me. Houston's really good against tight ends also, relative to some other teams. And then you just have the running backs. So I really don't know outside of Drake May who you're feeling super confident here with. If I had to pick one of the running backs, it'd probably be Ramondre Stevenson. But I'm not betting, him at plus 165 for a touchdown. I don't think, unless it's like a parlay. So Drake May, anytime and first touchdown for me. On the Patriots side of things, that is a play for me. I also took the Patriots -3. And then if you made me pick a Texans guy, it would be Hutchinson, I think. As for the next game, Rams and Bears, I told you guys yesterday I like the over in this game. I still like the over. Even if it's snowing, I don't care. Honestly, sometimes that helps out more than not because it's tough to tackle in the snow. So that can kind of accelerate things if you get some broken tackles and, long touchdowns and stuff can kind of speed the game up. So I still like the over in this one. I also like a touchdown scorer here that's a quarterback being Caleb Williams at plus 320. Plus 320 feels a little low for him. I would have to check what he's been priced at. Santiago, what's up? Yeah, he was horrible, dude, to be honest with you. He was so bad. We got lucky that he scored, but I mean, he had another chance too. It would have got called back, so I'm actually glad he dropped it because if he caught that and it got called back, I really would have tilted because he hadn't scored, at that time. But I mean, he scored on a design play, so I think I was correct in the process that they were going to look to get him involved. It's just, I don't know. I guess he's just not very good, but I'll take it. I'll definitely take it. I feel like Caleb Williams plus 310 is a little low relative to what he's been priced at the last few weeks. So I think we can look at him too. Again, if it's snowing, broken tackles, opens it up for a scramble, especially if the Rams are getting some pressure, opens up the scramble potential. If you guys remember back in week 1, we hit the JJ McCarthy and Caleb Williams anytime touchdown together. There's been a couple other weeks where we've done that. So I'm going to take a couple QBs today, Drake May and Caleb. I'm going to parlay them together for a little bit as well. I think there's boosts. I don't really have access to these boosts on DraftKings. FanDuel had some, though, pretty low limits, but let me see. I think I was getting like 25-1 for them both to score. If you're using a boost. So yeah, I think you can get close to because it's 16-1, just those two to score together. So if you can boost that up a little bit, I think you can get close to 25, 26-1. So I'm going to do the quarterback touchdown parlay today. There's other guys on the Bears you could talk me into for sure, especially because I think it's going to be a high scoring game. I think it's going to be way high scoring in comparison to the first game. So that's where the bulk of my attention would go. Loveland, who we've bet on a lot, before he got priced correctly, is still interesting. I think DJ Moore is interesting at plus 330. We've been on Burden a lot recently too, and he's been crushing, but DJ Moore is interesting to me at plus 330, especially because, Swift should have a good game just in general. I could see both teams obviously trying to run the ball if it is snowing. The reason I'm interested in DJ Moore a little bit at this price, A, he's the best priced Bears pass catcher, which is funny. But B, if you guys think back to training camp, there was a lot of times where it was getting hyped up that they were lining DJ Moore up in the backfield. We've seen it in the regular season, but it was more common towards the beginning of the season, I think. I do think they did it. I don't know if that was versus the Packers or against the Lions in one of their most recent games, but they did give DJ Moore a snap or two in the backfield there. I think you could see that today, him line up in the backfield. So I think it's a fine matchup for him receiving, but I also think there's small potential that you get DJ Moore in the backfield and you get a carry or something. So he's interesting to me from the Bears side. Caleb is my main play on the Bears, but I do like DJ Moore at plus 330 also. And then on the Rams, I'm just not betting minus 115, minus 110, plus 115. This is not how I roll personally. I do like Blake Corum, though, at plus 250. He was much more involved last week than I thought he would be. And given that it's snowing and, maybe Matt Stafford does not have great numbers in cold weather. So, maybe they lean a little bit more heavy on that run game. They get both Kyron and Corum involved. So I like Corum at plus 250. And honestly, 16-1 first touchdown is interesting too. So Caleb Williams, DJ Moore, Blake Corum, my main looks from this game. And then I like the over 48.5 as well. Prop-wise, nothing really sticks out to me. I'm going to keep looking after stream, though. If I find any props, like individual player props I like, I will tweet those out when I post all of my picks. But right now, I don't have anything that's really jumping off the page at me. As far as DFS goes, I kind of want to play Drake May. I think most projection systems are going to give you these Matt Stafford builds. So I think we can flip it a little bit if he's going to be the highest owned. Let me see if I can find some ownership projections also. Let's see. Yeah. So Stafford is popping highest projected owned as well. So I want to play Drake May, I think. You can play him by himself as well if you want to, or play him with like Stevenson or something. So let's see. I might try and sim something real quick. Let's see what looks good. I think the question comes down to like if we stack them, who do we want to stack them with, whether that's Diggs or not for 5,800. I don't want to use Hunter Henry, so it's really just if I use Diggs or Stevenson or both. But I might just play him by himself and then load up on the ancillary pieces in that evening game and hope that Drake May runs in like a touchdown or two or something. I guess you could do Douglas for like really cheap too, maybe. I might play him by himself. So I definitely want to play Puka. I don't know. Does anyone in chat have a running back that they feel really good about? I don't hate the Stevenson thing. I probably will play Swift. I might play Stevenson and Swift. And then maybe Kyron or Corum, but I might play double tight end also. So let's put in Stevenson with Drake May. All right, defense. I'll probably play the Pats defense, obviously, with Stevenson. A little bit of a correlation there. They're also 3,600, so I don't know if many people will get up to them. They're about split even for ownership between the Patriots, Rams, and Texans. I feel like maybe people would want to save a little bit, so they just kind of drop off. So maybe New England defense comes in a little bit lower owned than anticipated. But I think we go here. We could keep Hutchinson in. I think Burden will be pretty popular. I'm seeing Puka, Devontae, Diggs, Kirk, Burden, Hutchinson, Higgins as like the highest owned. I definitely want to play DJ Moore. I think DJ Moore is a good play at this ownership. So I'm going to put DJ Moore in. So it just comes down to tight end and flex. We could probably play Loveland 52. Oh, that just gives you Corum, which is good. Or we could go down at tight end, even though I don't want to play him. That gets you 62. Trying to see how we could maybe play Adams also. 42. So we just play Schultz. All right, we got a couple options. Do we want to play like try and get a little cutesy on this slate and play like Pop Douglas? And that way we could play Puka and Adams. Or I guess, I mean, we could get really weird, do this. I don't like that as much. I think we do Pop Douglas. Does Puka have value and props today with the snow? Yeah, I like you'll never like talk me out of Puka. Like Puka is probably like the safest guy, I would say. His lines are just like I don't bet high lines typically, and I don't bet short odds touchdowns. So I like, a lot of you guys are like relatively newer to the stream, but if you've been around a long time, I like to bet, 3, 4, 5, 6 to 1 touchdowns, because it's a lower unit bet. But if I take 4 guys that are 6 to 1 and one of them hits, I still, profited pretty well. Whereas if I take 4 guys that are plus 120 to score a touchdown and one of them does, I lost a lot of money. But in the NFL, like, random shit happens all the time. So I like to bet touchdowns where I think there's value, not necessarily, the player or even the matchup. But you guys know I'm pretty analytical with how I research stuff, but I think it's tough to find value today with how the books price stuff, but there's still value. Like Christian Kirk last week that was clear value in my opinion. And I think Drake May is value today because he hasn't scored a touchdown in like 5 weeks, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he's not scrambling or running or, capable of scoring a touchdown today. But Puka is the safest player of all, in my opinion. I just don't like to bet. Like, his receiving prop's almost 100. He'll probably go over, but I just can't stomach betting it. All right. So we have like Pop Douglas. Wait, what was that combo? Let me see. Douglas and Schultz. And Douglas, Schultz, Devontae versus Corum. Hutchinson and Loveland is what we're debating here. Let me add that up projections wise and see what we get. Okay, so we had Hutchinson. I see 7.6. Loveland 14.2. And Corum is 8, basically 9. So that's 30.8. 30.8. And then the other one is Schultz 10 plus Devontae plus Pop Douglas. That's 29.7. So we're like a half a point off in projection, a half a point in favor of this combo here. Chat, does anyone have a lean? We have Hutchinson, Loveland, Corum at like 31 points. And then we have Devontae, Schultz, Pop Douglas at like 30 points. 1 point in favor of this combo, but they're definitely close. I think I like this one better. Personally. Yeah, all right. I think we're going to roll this one. So here's the lineup for today. This is for the 2-game slate. I don't know what contest I'm playing, so feel free to play whatever, because I don't even know what I'm going to put this in. I haven't looked at the contests, but yeah. So we have Drake May, DeAndre Swift, Ramondre Stevenson, Puka Nacua, Xavier Hutchinson, DJ Moore, Colson Loveland, Blake Corum, and the Patriots defense. 100 salary left over. That does it for today's stream. Thank you guys for tuning in. Tons of you guys in here. I really appreciate all the love. I'll be live tomorrow. We'll recap today, and we will talk about the national championship. If you missed it at the start of the stream, Patriots -3. Drake May anytime and first touchdown. I like the over in the Rams-Bears game. Caleb Williams, my favorite touchdown pick, but I also like DJ Moore and Blake Corum. And I might parlay New England money line with Indiana money line tomorrow night in the national championship game. I got to think about that one. I'll tweet some stuff out though before the game start. We have like 3.5 hours. So stay tuned to my Twitter and the Rolling Insights Twitter. If you're watching on X, make sure you go to YouTube, Rolling Insights on YouTube, subscribe. We just got over 200. I would love to try and get to 300 soon. So if you guys could go hit that subscribe button over there, I'd really appreciate it. It doesn't cost you anything. But thank you guys for tuning in. And see everybody tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern.